Ray, formerly of Ray the Awareness Channel. Please go over there, click on the videos, and give them a like. I just wanted to come on here to thank the Negro Society for showing up on the OMB call. Do not let anyone discourage you and tell you that you are less than and you are not worthy to fight for your cause. If you feel that we should be restored back to Negroes, then you stand up and you express that and you fight and continue to fight. It doesn't matter. Don't let anybody bully you, no matter what organization or background they come from. If you believe in being a Negro, then stand on being a Negro. It's nothing wrong with that. I will be standing with you, and this girl will be working with you as well. I spoke to a lawyer. He is going to drop some very interesting cases on me because I'm going to begin to write letters to the OMB on our in our defense of being a Negro, why we should delineate, and I want to use some legalese in that. And what I would like to show is the cultural differences and the physical harm that we could potentially be in by staying connected to, the other people or whatever. I don't think that we should stay connected to them due to a lot of violence that has happened, and a lot of the rhetoric has been violent towards us. A lot of the cultural difference are very dangerous, such as child marriage, child trafficking, child labor, child brides, and child sexual trafficking, and FGM, and there's so much more. There were a couple of women who got hurt and murdered or whatever. That's going to be in a letter as well. But I definitely want to have a legal standing. I think when you address a lot of these different organizations, you want to address it with some type of legalese up in the letter that you intend on sending them. But thanks again so much, guys, for showing up and showing out. You guys were really great. And, like I said, next time maybe, now you can write letters. Now you can start writing letters, and you want to write them, very persuasively. And you want to put in, real details about why you really think we should delineate, and really think about that. Sit down and write it down. Why do you really want to delineate? Do you want to delineate because you think it's a trend? You think it's shared? Do you think financially it affects us? Do you think it affects us in the education system, in the housing system? Think about things like that when you're writing your letter, and just speak truth to power, like the people like to say, speak truth to power, and let that be that. But I wanted to get into this because I wanted to, just give you a little taste of what it means to be a Negro and what it meant to be a Negro and what the Negro provided. Why it's very important to me to be a Negro or whatever, because that's where our lineage is traced to. You can find old books about our past under the term Negro. Very interesting things that people don't talk about right now. But let's go over this right quick. And I'm just gonna read a snippet of this. I'm not gonna get into the whole thing. So I'm going to be a little brief here. Okay, the Negro in the abolitionist movement. Cohesiveness, discipline, organization were vital if the abolitionist cause were to succeed, for its purpose was of a profoundly revolutionary nature. Why is my screen going blue? Okay, I don't know. My screen just went blue and I don't know why. Okay. This is what happens when you do videos. So crazy. This is why, I don't like to do videos, but here we go. Okay, let's try it again. Cohesiveness, discipline, organization were vital if the abolitionist cause was to succeed, for its purpose was of a profoundly revolutionary nature. Unless the effort is seen in this light, its character is but dimly grasped. For the abolitionists set themselves the task of subverting and destroying a fundamental vested interest whose roots were deep and whose branches were far spread. So they letting you know the type of enemy that they were up against, which was the Klan and the Dixiecrats, and how far they spread out. So it was very important that this mission be respected in a certain way and looked at in a certain light, or else it wouldn't hold any weight. People wouldn't want to take a part of it. So they had to, express it in a certain way. True it is that success finally came only after the maturing of a new force, a new class, the industrial bourgeoisie, whose interests were opposed to those of its predecessor. But this success was not automatic, did not come of itself. It was produced by men and women, Negro and white, who had for decades been sowing the seed, talking, writing, petitioning, voting, and who finally piloted and aroused America through the maelstrom of a 4-year civil war. Okay, all of this work, and I'm gonna stop right there. You can come back and read it if you would like. All of this work, sowing of the seeds, the talking to the people. We had to talk to the other uh, enslaved people on the plantations. They had to get a lot of them on board. People were scared, but they had to talk to them about it. Discussions had to be made. You have to sow that seed. You got to put it in their minds that we are going to be doing this. We're going to run away. We're going to get our freedom one way or another. Right? So they had to, do all of that work of getting people on board, letting people know from plantation to plantation. And that's dangerous. That was very dangerous for the Negro to have to do. But they did it. And then they went out there, and it wasn't until after they fought in the Civil War till people really understood the strength and the power that the Negro community could possibly possess. So that helped them, make some changes or whatever for us. But, we did a lot of work alongside the white abolitionists, some of the Creoles and mulattoes that participated in the abolitionists, and most certainly and most importantly, the white people who participated in the abolition. But we stood alongside them. We fought with them. We had to get the word out too. Harriet can't get the word out from plantation to plantation by herself. No, she had to have the foot soldiers there trying to get people on board. Let them know I'm coming. Let them know what they need to bring or need not bring. So all these things had to be discussed and gotten together, and people needed clothes, and people needed a sandwich or something to take in, ways to keep the baby quiet, and, training and stuff. And we had to do all of that for one another. So the Negro community is very special. Don't listen to people talk about, Negroid, and, it's a Negroid, that's disrespectful. Don't listen to these dumbass motherfuckers. Regardless of what, right? And then slavery was disrespectful, was it not? But regardless of what, Negro connects us to our lineage. Black is global. It's global. People will hop in and out of blackness now. It's not something that you can just have anymore. They will use blackness as a way to attack white people when they feel like, oh, this is an instance that I can use it to say this white person is being racist to me so that I can get attention. And with this attention, there's usually some financial, rewards behind it. So they'll be using blackness to their benefit in that way, where they will hop in and out of it when it's necessary. They will use blackness when there's some type of educational, housing advantage or some type of privilege. They will use blackness then. Other than that, they have no use for blackness when you're talking about the unemployment rates, when you're talking about home ownership, when you're talking about savings, financial literacy, black business. They're silent around that. So that's another reason why I would like to delineate, because they're only going to use it. But there's somebody that's trying to take back black, I believe it is. And if you're going to take back black, you're going to need millions of dollars, and more than likely you'll need the president on your side. You're definitely going to have whoever is the president. You'll need some of their people on your side in order to get this done, because you're not going to be able to do it, by yourself or online, or, even if you had a town hall, you're not going to be able to take back black. It's going to take millions of dollars, or it's going to take some heavy power and influence. But I just wanted to read that to let you know. And then I wanted to share something else with you to let you know that, look, black people, we've done this. Black people, Negroes, we've done this before. This is not new to us. We've always went back and forth or whatever. But the problem is A lot of the times, the loudest people are the majority, and they screw everything up for all the rest of us. And we could look at this past election as a huge teaching moment to show you, as an example, to show you that, look, everybody black, like 29% of us voted for the other guy. We didn't vote for this person that we got in office today. We voted for Trump. 29% of us, which is not a lot. But 29% of us voted for Trump. And because of the rest of the loony bins decided y'all wanted to run off and vote for this, which made absolutely no sense whatsoever. It just didn't make any damn sense to vote for this guy. But what's done is done. You've already done it, but it didn't make any sense. But you see, people like myself and the 29%, we got to go through all of this shit. Y'all may not care. A lot of black people may not even care about what's going on. But we got to struggle up underneath that. And that's what's not right. And that's all, like, we're gonna have to either like delineate ourselves, like more of us are just gonna delineate from the black groups and stuff like that, and just kind of like team up with other people or whatever ethnic group there may be. We may just end up doing that, because if black people are gonna continue to go down the dumb path, then we're tired of just being connected. Just because you're black, you gotta suffer with everybody else. It's not fair to bring the whole goddamn group down. Then you have people who like to point at people in the hood, talking about, yeah, that's people in the hood, and people in the hood are uneducated, and people in the hood, they don't know. And some of us are more educated than them. But if you're in New York City, shit, living on the better side of New York City is a mortgage payment. You're looking at $6,000 a month, anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 a month to live on the better side of New York City. To live in the real good spots, where it's really like less, where there used to be anyway, because now the whole New York is going insane. But where there used to be like less crime and, doormen and, things of that nature, whatever, stuff like that, rooftops with the gardens on them and all that. Yeah, wow, we love all of that in the hood. We're not going to get that here, so we are going to move on and, move towards that or whatever. But still in all, like, nobody's looking to pay a mortgage payment just to say you live in another building that, may be a little bit more fancier than where you live at. Not me. I don't know. I don't want to. I wouldn't even try to, but that's too much for me. But even if I had it, I wouldn't want to pay $6,000 for that. I'll just get a house. And if that's the case, I'll get another house someplace else. And it wouldn't matter. I could just Airbnb it when I want to come to New York City, or I could stay in a hotel. Me and my kids stay in hotels. We stayed in 4-star hotels. The Intercontinental being one of them, which I really love, but I don't know if I'm ever going back there again because, uh, the situation. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. But yeah, we've always fought with each other. We always went back and forth. And I wanted to bring this up as a way to show you an example of what I'm just talking about the Biden thing, how 29% had to suffer because the majority just want to run, straight forward, just run like, just crash into a wall. Just get on the train and ride the train until it crash, and no matter what. And then the other people on there like, damn, nobody could tell us that, I don't know. But anyway, an African American dilemma, a high school of integration and civil rights in the North. Okay, from the first page of An African American Dilemma, A History of School Integration and Civil Rights in the North, Zoe Buckholder challenges readers' assumptions about segregated black schools in the United States in her description of Bordentown, Bordentown Manual and Industrial Training School for Colored Youth in New Jersey. Bordentown was populated by dozens of well-groomed students strolling paths shaded by sprawling oak, maple, and sycamore trees, and visited by luminaries such as Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Imagine that. That's just like 50 Cent walking up in your high school. Booker T. Washington just strolling by on the campus, and then W.E. Du Bois. And my favorite, Mary McLeod Bethune. She's my favorite. Imagine if I would probably pass out if I was like, oh my God, but just, I don't know. Paul Robeson and Albert Einstein. When the United States Supreme Court found segregating schooling unconstitutional in 1954, black Bordentown students, parents, alumni, and teachers fought to keep the school open, valuing its employment of black teachers, something you could rarely find. It's like salt and pepper, baby. For real, you cannot find these black teachers. So I hope black teachers focus on racial uplift and strong academic and extracurricular offerings, which are very important. When I was going to school, they were called enrichment programs. I took up juggling. I was in a glee club, and those programs helped me a lot as far as socialization. Because while I lived, in the projects, I grew up in the projects or whatever, and I have family in the suburbs of the South, and we went in the South. They own a farm and everything, so you got to see what the South is like and everything like that, and not be so much hooded out. So I had both the best of both worlds. But still in all, in the hood, you are more socialized than play and maybe dysfunction going on, a little bit dysfunction going on outside because this, it's a lot of people and all type of stuff is going on. So you might see just about anything or whatever. So you're socialized in a playful way and maybe with a little bit of dysfunction. Whereas in these enrichment programs or these extracurricular offerings that they're talking about, you are socialized in a structural way. Like you people will play chess. We had chess, and you will learn how to play fairly and how to interact with the person without using violence or profanity, which I love. I love me a good profanity sentence. But, you learn how to communicate without doing those things when you are in other settings, okay, which is very important. You got to know how to turn it off or whatever. So, let me get back into this because it's very good. Very, very good. We were talking about 1950 Du Bois and Mary McLeod, but we're talking about the extracurricular offerings that black students would otherwise not receive in local integrated schools. So by them going to these schools with white kids, a lot of that programming would have been cut from. They wouldn't have had that. In contrast, civil rights groups, here it goes, civil rights groups like the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, decried separate schools like Bordentown as archaic, and supported the state in closing Bordentown to send black students to integrated schools. So these bastards, the NAACP, as far as I'm concerned, ain't never been shit. They ain't never been shit. We've never seen them. I grew up in Webster Projects. We have never seen not one imbecile from the NAACP. I can't stand them people because they walk around all bougie and they act like, they doing this and child, and let's give Meek Mills an award, and let's give Teddy Ted an award, and let's give this one Special K an award or whatever. Fuck your awards. Fuck the NAACP. Fuck the NAACP Image Awards. And if you want one, fuck you too. Okay? Because they don't do shit for the black community. They're not advancing a goddamn thing but themselves, their family members, and their bank accounts. Okay? And that's just real facts. I don't really give a damn. The NAACP was good up until Martin Luther King passed away. After that, they're pieces of shit. And they're not even so. Because look, here, 1954, here. Look what they did then. So even then, they was just like pieces of shit that you can't flush, that stay stuck to you, and no matter how much you wipe, it's like dried up. It's like horse manure. Just you can't get this shit. Oh no, let me stop with this bullshit. But it's the truth. These people are a cancer in our society. You can come back and read the whole article, whatever. But I am so sick of them, and I'm just tired. But this was just to show you how a small, minute, or a large crowd in the black community, if it's the right. See, they have power, the NAACP. They have some political friends. Even back then they had, Jewish society members who were high ranking. They always had somebody go, well, how can you help us? Because the other Negroes won't play with us. They don't want to go along. So they go over there, to them and get the check cut and come on out. And then before you know it, they're not the majority, but it looks like they're majority and they're ruling. But it just goes, this is just support of what I just said or whatever. They wanted to stay in Bordentown. They were doing well. It was a beautiful place. They dressed really nicely. They were all there together in their Negro spirits, you know, socializing with each other, learning how to have structural socialization. A lot of these kids lack from that, especially when you get to the inner city. Woo! Structure is goddamn needed. That's why I ain't let my kids, oh, hell no. Because I grew up in the hood. So I know what they done. Hell no. You ain't going nowhere until you get old enough. And then when you get old enough, you're getting off the block. You go to the better parts with your friends. Y'all go to the movies. Y'all go. That's what I mean about structure. Don't just be sitting around on no stoop and shit like that. Hell no. I did that. I got into trouble. I got into trouble. So I knew, not to let my kids repeat that. Being on the stoop and chilling around the neighborhood will get you in trouble. And I learned to, like, let me just bounce, even if nobody wanted to. Let me just go downtown. Let me go this. I could go do this for a couple of hours and come back, or whatever. I just learned to do that. And every time I came back, there was a fight. Let me tell you what happened. So and so I did. So I was like, thank God I got a goddamn some tokens and shit. My grandmother would give me like sacks of tokens and things like that. That's what we used back then. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to do that. And I want to show you one more thing. But we're gonna pause for I was about to say a commercial break, but these bastards never let me get no commercials on here in the first goddamn place. So we just gonna pause for the cause. We're gonna do that and come right back. Don't you go nowhere. Don't you go to go over a couple of war heroes, right? Because this is important. We never talk about our war heroes. Our Anglo-Saxon partners are always celebrating George Washington, General Patton, General Lee. They celebrate all of this. We never talk about any of ours. So I just wanted to point out a couple of, right? So this is here was First Lieutenant Williams Dominic Matthews. He was a member of the Independent Battery, U.S. Colored Light Artillery, who served at Fort Leavenworth and helped protect eastern Kansas during Price's invasion in 1864. In addition, Matthews helped recruit many members of the 1st Colored Kansas Volunteer Infantry. Prior to the Civil War, Matthews ran a boarding house in Leavenworth, Kansas, that was used as part of the Underground Railroad. Assisted by Daniel R. Anthony, the brother of Susan B. Anthony, Matthews helped many Missouri slaves escape to Kansas and other free states. And this is him right here. Looking all sharp. Look how proud they were, even back then. Okay, here's another one that I wanted to bring up. This is James Daniel Gardner. He was born 1839 and he died in 1905. And he received the Medal of Honor, the Congressional Medal of Honor. Gardner was a private in the 36th Colored Regiment at the Battle of Chaffin's Farm. Charging the Confederates, they came under intense fire in which 50% of the black troops became casualties. That would have been Negro and not black. I don't know who did this, but it would have been Negro. 50% of the Negro troops became casualties. During the assault, Gardner advanced ahead of his unit, shooting a Confederate officer, failing to kill him. Oh, he shot an officer that failed to kill him. He continued charging until he was close enough to pierce him with his bayonet. And that's those, looks like a rifle with the pointy knife on the outside of it. The following day, Gardner was promoted to sergeant and given a Medal of Honor for his actions, rightfully so. Shouts out to him. And the next guy here is the last one, but this guy's my favorite right here. I love his story. He also received the Congressional Medal of Honor. It tells you here that black people were, we were banned from owning guns or whatever, but, we got that right in the Army and everything. And here they talked about how American soldiers were awarded the Medal of Honor in the Civil War. More than 70, they got African, but we're going to say 70 American Negro soldiers have received the Medal of Honor for their gallant actions during wartime. 70 is good because considering we make up 20%, I don't know about now, but we made up 20% for a long time of the military. So, 70, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I hope we get 70 or 100 more. But this is my favorite story right here. This is Miles James. He was born 1829 and he died 1871. As a corporal in Company B of the 36th Colored Regiment, James served at the Battle of Chaffin's Farm on September 30th, 1864. During the battle, James was hit by a shot that mutilated his arm. Despite being urged to retreat and told that he needed immediate amputation, James proceeded to lead his men, firing and reloading his pistol with a single arm. James received the Medal of Honor for his actions, rightfully so. Can you imagine that? Getting your damn your arm blown off, mutilated, and then just saying, you know what, let me just give me a t-shirt. Screw that. Give me a t-shirt, wrap it up, and I'm going. And you got reload. It just happened. And he was able to reload his gun and fire it with the same hand. Why they don't put that in any of the movies? And this is what I'm talking about. These are the type of stories that our kids need. You know how much determination he had? He was getting free. He was going to get these Confederates no matter, even if he just had to do it with one hand. That's determination. And that teaches a lot when you hear these stories. That no matter what you're going through, look at this guy. He was just off the plantations. And he didn't want to go back. He didn't want to go back to that life. So even with one hand, he kept going. So it's a phenomenal story, and there's so many more of our stories. Why don't we teach this in school? Why is it important to constantly teach slavery and white people? You did this, and why is that important? Why can't we focus more on our heroes, our inventors, our surgeons? Dr. Ben Carson, the first American Negro surgeon to successfully separate conjoined twins. I'm so impressed by that. I can't stop saying it. I just can't stop. That's fascinating. Perfecting gamma electronics, Mr. Sampson, so that you can walk around with your cell phone. He didn't make the cell phone, but he perfected gamma electronics, or else the cell phone would be nothing but a shell. Let's teach that. Let's teach about Thurgood Marshall. Let's teach about these things. We're not teaching that. We're teaching slavery 24/7. And that is not a confidence booster. That is a confidence destroyer. White supremacy 24/7 will destroy you, and it'll keep you in a sunken place. It'll keep you in that state of mind that I'm not really nothing, and even if I do try, so I'm probably not gonna make it, or and you'll never have any confidence in yourself if you don't learn about the successes that we had. That's another thing I mean about, like, a lot of us Negroes, a lot of us feel like that. Like, we want our kids to know about the other things, the great things that we did. We don't want them to just stay stuck in slavery. Yes, we know slavery happened, but that's not all that happened. And we don't want to stay stuck there. I don't know what I just did. Okay. Yeah, but this guy's definitely a war hero. Definitely somebody to talk to your sons and your daughters about. Just about having determination. And when they feel like they want to quit, he's a good story to bring up. you can yeah, this is the best story. Get your arm blown off and keep on going. So yeah, that's it. Shout out to the Negroes. Don't let nobody bully you. Let them talk all the shit that they want to, but you keep showing up. You stand, strong. And happy Negro night. Have some good dinner tonight. I'm about to go eat, and that's about it. Enjoy. Bye.